What is wrong with you? What is
Yeah,
wrong?
you got to grab it.
What is that? Spider.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome. I do believe this is 4.3 Powers of Congress. Welcome. Let's go. So, pretty simply put, this is what we're going over today, Congressional Powers. So if we were to look at the articles in the Constitution, we would see Article 1, Section 8, the first 17 clauses, which are like little tiny sentences pretty much, that are given to us in the articles, list specific powers given to Congress. These are called several different things. Expressed, delegated, enumerated, exclusive. All of those pretty much mean the same thing, that they are written and given to us by the Constitution. Clause 18, necessary and proper clause, we've kind of talked about that already. So Congress is given the power to do anything necessary and proper to keep the United States going and continued prosperity and all that kind of stuff. Then we have implied powers. They're not stated explicitly, but they are implied, saying that they could, implied powers give the feeling of the loose interpretation of the Constitution.
Yeah, I figured you would.
So this is also called the elastic clause, meaning that we can do anything necessary. We can stretch it just a little bit to make things happen. I mean, think about this. Do you think that Congress has the power to give stimulus checks?
Look at how cool.
Is it listed anywhere in the Constitution?
No, not exactly. We're not word for word.
Right. So that's something that, that would be a part of Clause 18, necessary and proper. Okay, lawmaking powers. So we have the power, or Congress has the power to collect taxes. Bills that raise money, okay, they're called revenue bills, and spend money, they have to start somewhere specifically, and that's the House of Representatives. So why? Why would they have to be introduced in the House of Representatives? The closest thing to us is our representative.
I'm going back to the
It's based on population.
Because it's based on population and where you live. That right there is why. So if we have a bill, right? A bill is something before it becomes a law. It's just a proposed law. If it has to do with collecting money and using tax money, it has to start in the House of Representatives, and it must be approved by the Senate. Congress spends money by means of a two-step process. So here's your exit ticket right here. We have the authorization bill. That creates projects. Congress is now authorized for a project to begin. And then the next step is the appropriation bill. It actually provides the money for each program. So the authorization bill, boom, creates the project. Appropriation bills says, here's the money that we're going to use for that. You might have heard that word before, appropriated or whatever it is. But, if we're talking about like an educational budget, each department, like the social studies department or somebody like that, they would get appropriated money and they would be able to use it for whatever they need, materials or whatever it is. So, oh my God.
My bad.
Legislative powers continuing, so regulating commerce. So the Commerce Clause gives Congress the power to regulate foreign and interstate commerce. So making laws dealing with air traffic, television, air pollution, all based on this clause. Why? I mean, look at it. Air traffic, television, air pollution. Congress has the power to make laws dealing with that stuff. The reason being is that crosses state lines. Okay? So interstate commerce, if it's crossing state lines, then it becomes a federal situation. And that's what we're talking about here with the Commerce Clause. Non-legislative powers. So powers not related to making laws. That's what legislative powers mean, right? Lawmaking powers. So proposal of constitutional amendments. So changes to the Constitution. Again, 2/3 vote of both houses. Counting of the electoral votes in presidential elections. Remember that day that the riots happened at Capitol Hill? That was this day. So they were counting electoral votes. Chooses president and vice president if no one wins majority of electoral votes. That is interesting. I've never seen that happen. And I don't know, I kind of thought it might happen this year, that nobody would win the 270 electoral votes that it took to win the presidency.
Yeah, but then didn't Joe Biden win more than 270?
No, he definitely did.
Okay.
But if neither one of them get there, then guess who decides?
The Congress, or
Yeah.
whatever.
And at that moment, it would have been, you know,
It would have been Donald Trump. Oh, no.
it could have been.
Because when they were counting,
It depends on
it
how
already
much of the
flopped.
Congress is Republican.
Didn't already
how much
switch?
is the
When they
Democrat.
exactly. So when they count the votes,
Congress
Congress
didn't
had already
vote?
switched.
yeah, so
Right.
it would have been,
Right, because
Yeah,
the riot happened on January 6th, and Congress switches January 3rd.
yeah. So
So, yeah.
it would have gone,
It would have gone,
yeah.
Democrat way. So yeah, it's interesting to think about. If a president dies, resigns, or is too ill to serve, Congress settles the matter, and that's where, you've heard that maybe a couple times. Have you heard that? Well, one, specifically during Donald Trump's presidency, they wanted to evoke the 25th Amendment because they felt like he was unfit to
Wasn't
whatever
yesterday his
rule
second,
because of his decision-making abilities. And now people are talking about the 25th Amendment because of Biden's mental health, possibly.
Yeah,
So
mental.
it's always talked about for some reason, but
Because they
you know,
always are like, no.
the other side always wants to get the president.
Yeah, but can Congress people vote, was my question.
Say it again.
Can they vote, Congress people?
Can they vote on for presidential elections?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
because it's like their responsibility, their duty. Their duty.
But it just counts as like a regular vote, it's not like super fancy or anything, right?
No.
Yeah, they would vote just like you and I. They would
Okay.
go to their
I don't
district
vote.
polling place and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's right, you don't vote,
I
but
don't vote.
they would vote like I do. Like they would go to their polling place and do that, or mail it in.
Okay.
All right, so non-legislative powers continued. There's only one group of people, one entity that can declare war, and that's Congress. We haven't declared war since World War II. But
Honestly,
obviously, we've
Good
been
for
in
us.
several wars. So what happens is the president sends troops. That's called an executive order. They can stay there for 60 days. And then Congress can decide whether or not they stay or they come home. And if they decide that they can stay, then it just continues without declaring war. And that's what's happened in Afghanistan. That's what happened in Desert Storm, the Korean War, Vietnam War, all of that. Okay, we never officially declared war. So also, they can create, maintain, and oversee an army and navy. Then, obviously, we know what checks and balances are. It's for nobody to get too powerful in government. So, president makes treaties with other countries. That has to be approved by the Senate. Okay? The upper house, if you remember. Checks and balances continued. More non-legislative powers. It's what's going on right now again. The House, by majority vote, may impeach. So they would accuse an official of misconduct. They could vote to impeach, but the Senate is actually where the trial happens. And that's what's going on now.
So, just the impeachment trial going on right now with Donald Trump. He is not in office,
Right.
and you can't impeach someone if they're not in office. So if they find a way to impeach him, but then later it's rendered invalid,
They're
where's that?
impeaching him for things that happened while he was in
Yeah.
office.
It can happen while you're out of office.
Well, yeah, but like
As long-
if they do convict him and he gets
then he
kicked
can,
out.
then he can no longer be
Yeah,
president,
but
meaning he
in- but
can't run ever
Yeah,
again.
but if they later
Can't hold
render
a
it invalid,
backup position.
does that void the,
I don't know how
Trial,
they, I don't know how they would render it invalid. They've already decided that it's okay to go to trial.
Because they.
That was a question
Second day.
before the trial started in the Senate, like, can we even bring this to trial, blah, 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 and the answer was yes, apparently,
Yeah,
and
but
so they're
then-
doing it.
Weren't they gonna impeach him like before that? No, well, yeah, but like.
Not when.
Well, he's the only president to ever be impeached twice.
I know, but, good for him.
But, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
but
not,
they
he's
were-
not the only president to be impeached, I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, wasn't
They
like
were
Nixon?
planning on
Nixon
doing
was
it
impeached,
before
but he
was
didn't
out of
get, like,
office.
Nixon
convicted?
was,
Because
he was never impeached, he just resigned. And then
Yeah,
They
he
were
was
like-
going to be.
Yeah,
yeah, he
So
was
then
on
Bill
was he-
Clinton,
mid.
Andrew Johnson,
was he impeached by the House of Representatives? Or,
maybe they voted that impeachment.
but then they
couldn't
didn't,
happen.
it didn't get the
Maybe
Senate?
the trial didn't happen, I think maybe with Nixon, I can't remember.
I think that's what happened.
I remember that he resigned before he could become.
Yeah.
impeached.
Okay. So, more checks and balances. The Senate must approve all presidential appointments, Supreme Court justices, and cabinet members. This is interesting. I mean, this happened a couple times in Trump's presidency as well, right? A new Supreme Court judge was chosen, and then they had to go through a vetting process, and then they had to go through a questioning process in the Senate. And it was crazy to watch. You know, it was I mean, they don't hold back. They're trying to dig deep into that person's past to see whether or not they're worthy of the appointment or not. And all of them did get approved. All right, overseeing government activities, so standing committees, we talked about those, are the most powerful working entities in Congress. But they review how well the executive branch has put laws into practice. And then they can conduct special investigations. We talked about those two as well. Congress set up the JFK assassination called the Warren Commission. They did the Warren Report. They did a full investigation on who killed JFK. Also with baseball and steroids, they did that as well.
Sorry, that's not funny.
Limits on power, they cannot suspend the writ of habeas corpus. So what is the writ of habeas corpus? It actually means to produce the body. So the court order requiring police to bring a prisoner to court to explain why they are holding the person, detaining the person. So you have to, if the police detain you, you have to be, they have to let you know why. That is what writ of habeas corpus is. Congress cannot suspend that, okay? They cannot pass bills of attainder. So these are laws that punish a person without a jury trial. You know, in the United States, that we have the right to a fair trial, due process, trial by jury, not only in criminal matters, but also in civil. So Congress can't stop that from happening either. They cannot pass ex post facto laws. So these are laws that make an act a crime after the act had been committed. So let's say that I did something, it was illegal, or I did something today, but it becomes illegal a week from now.
See,
like marijuana, like say you did marijuana,
Yeah.
and then it becomes legal in like 3 weeks, you can't get put in trouble for that.
Right. There's no way they can't do anything with me. If, it was like, if I committed,
yeah, because it was before it was illegal.
that's right, that's exactly right. So they can't, it's like me going,
Wouldn't it be fine?
Really just like me. That's the only. That's really
yeah,
the only.
that's exactly right. And they just want, like, these are specifically written in the Constitution to make sure that the Congress doesn't, this would be a terrible thing for a person's individual rights if they did that. You would feel violated, right? You're like, oh man, this is Congress coming after me, even though when I did it, it was fine, and now it's illegal. That'd be,
Yeah, but like,
they're just purposely writing this down so that we can't do it.
so like vice versa, like if you do something that's illegal and then a couple days later, it becomes lawful, you can do it, But like, can you still put a trial if you haven't put a trial yet?
Well, that'd be a good, that's a good,
There was
Let's
something about
whenever you decriminalize drugs.
Yeah.
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 Like
So
say,
you're talking about the opposite?
yeah, say like Billy does 14 pounds of marijuana, and then the day later,
Pounds?
he's been hitting it.
Yeah.
And the day later it becomes legal.
Billy is
Can he be
going.
put in trial for that crime because it was done when it was legal?
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, this.
Why does Timmy need 14 pounds? What is he doing? Trying to take down an elephant?
So.
Yeah, hitting a recreational
Alright,
grass.
remember that,
right?
you know, Congress can't interfere with state laws or state powers. And then checks on the legislature by other branches. We'll talk about those really quickly, you know, when we get to executive branch and judicial branch. So that's all we got for today. Any questions about anything?
No, that's more than my.
Yes. How many quesadillas do you eat?
Ooh, I'm gonna get 7.
One. We're talking
Oh,
about for Taco Bell? Were you there last night?
I'm making a ring.
I had one quesadilla.
Eh?
Let her do what she
Paper
wants, Caleb.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Let her do what she wants. You're the one with
Any
the
questions?
I'm not saying
about
You're
anything?
just smoking 14 pounds a week.
No, Billy did.
Billy? Is that your like little personality?
You're
No, my little person is Tommy. Little Timmy, sorry. Little Timmy.
Alright.
I think I'm Billy.
Stay if you'd like to watch CNN 10. About to play it in a second.
Oh shoot.
All right.
I don't see it.
That's what you said on Tuesday.
Travis, I have a question.
I'm definitely Billy.